I'm excited that I finally am able to make this video. At the kind of beginning, middle of November, Disney held their first all-virtual pin event. This pin event was supposed to be the annual one that they hold in Epcot every year, but because of COVID, they had to make everything online, and because of that, anybody could attend and register. The theme of the pin event this year was celebrating 20 years of Disney pins, because pin trading is indeed celebrating its 20th anniversary. And one of the biggest draws to these pin events is the event-exclusive pins that are released. I feel like I'm the last person to get theirs in, but I finally got all of my pins from the Celebrating 20 Years of Disney Pins event. So I thought I'd share these and then talk a little bit about the event. But first, keep in mind kind of the amount of stuff that I received, and then compare that to the size of the box it shipped in. This is one of the biggest boxes I have ever received something in, and I was like, oh my gosh. I wonder if because I'm at the very end of the alphabet that they ran out of appropriate size boxes and all they had left were the big daddies. But at least all the pins arrived safely intact. So this online pin event was a 2-day event on November 13th and 14th. It cost $50 to attend, and with that you'll receive a complimentary welcome pin, a goodbye pin, and then access to all of the stuff online with the event. So they had a number of videos, kind of interviews with Disney pin artists talking about Disney pins. Some of them were like very short videos and I'm like, that's it. Others were actually like really long and interesting, kind of like talking about the actual whole history of Disney pins. They did put online a whole bunch of the upcoming Disney pin previews. Most of the time in person they show a whole bunch more pins, but they at least had flyers to put up. There was probably the worst, least functional discussion board I've ever seen, you know, designed to have people interact, but in a format such that kind of makes it impossible to actually really use and like communicate and talk about stuff. They had a message feature where you could message other participants, but there was no way to directly respond to those messages, so you had to just kind of create a new one. So, I mean, the event itself was fine enough. Obviously, Disney had never put an online event like this together before, so there's obviously still a lot of kinks I think that they can work out and improve. I was just at least excited because for people like me, it gives me an opportunity to attend the event when otherwise I wouldn't be able to in person. Definitely for the online event like this, the biggest perk is being able to purchase the event exclusive pins. The pins generally all center around the theme of 20 years of Disney pins, and all of the pins are available via a random selection process. So you basically have to rank the pins that you want most, and then it's kind of a lottery drawing based on who gets those. I luckily received all of the pins that I requested on my RSP, but something that I know made people upset was that typically after the event, any pins that don't sell out, they'll have for sale at Epcot or other places in Disney World for the public there. But Disney put out pins that did supposedly sell out during the event, pins that people were not awarded on their RSP. They were available in Epcot for sale for just the general people there. So people were definitely a little bit upset that they paid $50 to attend this event to get exclusive pins, pins that supposedly sold out, weren't available in the online last chance store, and that people just in Epcot could buy them. So that was definitely strange that Disney did that, considering those pins appeared in Epcot long before I received my pins, because they should at least hold on to a little bit of stock in case, you know, they're shipping everything out, like if something is damaged or lost. But at least on my end, I can't really complain because I got everything that I wanted and all the pins are safely here. And now finally, let's go on and share all the pins that I got from the pin event. So first up, we have the welcome pin. And so this was given as a gift as part of the $50 registration. And then it goes with the also complimentary goodbye pin that they send. So this is where they've really skimped out for these pins, because in some previous years, it's been like a full pin set, or, you know, much nicer pins. But these definitely don't even come close to a $50 value. But here is a look at Mickey, our welcome pin here. So at least what's interesting about this is that he is holding a tiny pin. So I guess technically you kind of get 2 pins with this. And it's designed so that you can kind of interchange that pin. This is comparatively a very small little backer card. Pretty basic pin, but this at least definitely is one that I will keep since it is a nice memory of the event. But you can see with this pin here, we can take off this little 20 mini pin. So we've got just our teeny tiny pin there. And then in Mickey's palm, you could exchange and put anything else there. And let's check the edition size of this pin because that'll let us know how many attendees they allowed. So this on the back says it is a limited edition of 2,000. It seemed like they had more people they allowed registered for the event, but if every attendee got one of these, I guess it has to be a cap of 2,000. And then there is the goodbye pin, which is another tiny pin. So this is where you can tell this is something that's super cheap. I mean, the smaller the pin, the fact it has no enamel on it, that's one of the cheapest type to produce. But this represents the pin event theme for next year, which is Heroes versus Villains. It looks kind of like an Angry Pete and then a Steamboat Willie. But I will at least say the quality of this is nicer than I was expecting. It is this kind of sculpted metal finish as opposed to just being, you know, like a weird older Hidden Mickey Chaser pin. But I was definitely a bit underwhelmed by this as the goodbye pin. So those were the two things that were included with the event, and then the rest of everything I was awarded on my RSP and I purchased. The first one that I got is this really cool and interesting Yesterday and Today fold-out pin. I already took it out of the packaging so that there is an easier look at the fold-out element. But you have kind of like old school drawn depicted Fab 5 characters. And one thing that you'll notice on this pin and all the other pins is a little emerald, which is kind of the event symbol celebrating the 20 years of Disney pins. So this pin is a tri-fold, kind of zoom back so that you can see the whole pin. And so they basically have like kind of different fill stages of the pin itself. So the top part is just kind of like the mold of the pin itself. Then the center one is where it's just filled with a soft enamel. You can kind of see all the dips and grooves. And then in this final one, it's the kind of final resulting pin, and it's got that kind of nice epoxy top coat on it. So then that kind of pops back together nicely like that. I feel like I said this was a Yesterday and Today, but that's another pin set. This one is actually Remembering Yesterday. On the base, this has the little 20 years logo. And then this pin is an LE of 750. I'm assuming that this blank space right here was intended to be signed by the pin artist, but of course they couldn't do that with the event not being in person. But typically you can get artist signatures at the event there. Then I got two pins that come in this really extra kind of nice special packaging. And this was a pin series that is commemorating previous pin events. So they have pins that are kind of based on or inspired by the previous pin events, but actually weren't released then. So this at least is like really nice presentation. It's kind of like a little tear tab at the top and then 20 years on the back, limited edition. So let's open these up for the first time and actually look at these pins. So inside this kind of counts as a very extra large pin backer card. So you can see the main base to this backer card here is it all started with Walt, which was a previous pin event from some year. I can't really remember when, but then we have the little pin here, which I thought was really nice. I like this kind of classic celebration of Walt with some little animation there. Again, the little green gem that's on all these pins. So I thought this was cool to get. Here's just the pin itself off of that large backer card. And then this one as well is a limited edition of 750. Then we have our other one, which we can open up here. Even though these aren't at all mystery pins, the extra kind of packaging itself makes it a little fun, almost as if they were. But this pin here, it says celebrate the history of animation. So this is inspired by the Animation Celebration pin event from a few years ago. And I really love this pin. I think it's so pretty. You kind of have a little sketched out Steamboat Willie. And I think this also goes really nice with the previous kind of like classic Walt pin. Just to look off the backer card, I love how they did this kind of translucent enamel fill to do a kind of wood grain. And then this pin as well is LE 750. Now this pin ended up being quite a popular pin, so I was very happy I was able to get this on my RSP. This is a pin that was designed in collaboration with a guest from the last year's Fairy Tales event. They won an auction to kind of create their own Disney pin, and this is what they came up with in collaboration with the Disney artists. So you can see quite a nice large pin. I would say this kind of counts as a jumbo pin. And it features Mickey as a pin trader saying, "Want a pin trade?" And then you have all these pins on this pin board, and 3 of them are actual tiny pins that you can take off. So there's a little Tigger pin, Stitch holding Scrumped, and then an Ariel pin. So it's nice that you kind of actually get multiple pins in one with this one. So here is just the tiny cute Tigger pin. We've got a little Stitch and Scrump here. And then there is this Ariel tiny pin. So then it just has these other pins, which are kind of just part of the pin itself. And there's the pin off of its backer card. And this one is a limited edition of just 500. And you can see that this does also say that it was designed in collaboration with the 2019 Fairy Tales auction lot winner. Next up, I have 3 mystery pin items. In total, they had 3 different types of mystery pin sets. They had a tiny pin mystery box, another mystery box with other pins. I didn't get any of those because there were no pins in them that I was really looking for, but these are kind of the most unique mystery pins, and they only have 1 pin in each little blind bag, and each pin comes with a trading card. What's cool about these mystery pins is they're designed to be additional mystery pins to previous mystery pin sets from previous pin events. There's 1 pin here that I really want, and it is a Madame Medusa pin. There's also another pin from Coco, which seems very cool, but I am very nervous about these because they all feel identically the same inside. So we'll have to see if I'm like that unlucky that these 3 that I got are all gonna be the same. But you know, there's only one way to find out, and these again are just like very nice and tear opens. But ooh, this one I am excited about. This one is based on the Love is an Adventure pin event, and it features Minnie and Mickey. Okay, I'm already much happier than I was. I had gotten like kind of worried before, but this is definitely a pin that I really like and I'm gonna keep. So you can see this pin comes on what they consider a little pin trading card, kind of serves as a backer card. And then we have Minnie and Mickey kind of done in the new animated short style that says Love is Evolving. So this is designed to be kind of like, you know, an extra mystery pin that could have fit in with the Love is an Adventure pin set. Here's a little look at this one off the card. Love the quality of this one. Really awesome size. I'm starting to feel a lot less worried. Now what's really interesting is on the back of this says limited release, but these little mystery pouches themselves were branded as an LE3000. So I don't totally understand that. All right, that first one went much better than expected, so hopefully we'll kind of continue with things feeling better than I thought they were gonna be. And okay, yeah, this is a different pin, but as you'll be able to see, it's a super similar shape to the Minnie and Mickey pin. So that's kind of why I got worried, but this features Goofy from the Pin Trading University series. I actually also really like and I'm really happy with this pin because I'm a big baseball fan. I'm from Chicago, so I'm a very big Chicago Cubs fan. And here we have Goofy playing baseball. It has the little PTU logo on the back from the Pin Trading University event. I really am digging these kind of like trading card style backs. But this one just is another really awesome, nice sized, high quality pin. And strangely, this one as well is branded as a limited release. I have 1 more left. It doesn't, based on its shape, feel like it's the Madame Medusa or the Coco pin, but as long as this is a different, unique pin from the other 2, I will be doing a lot better than I thought I was gonna. Ooh, and this is indeed another unique pin, and this features little Piglet on it. On this pin, we have a super cute Piglet, and this was inspired by or kind of goes along with the Imagination Gala pin event. And this mystery pin set was called Small But Mighty. So Piglet works perfectly for that. But this has some super, super pretty purple glitter in the back. And so with this pin, hopefully I'll be able to trade it for the Madame Medusa one. I have 1 final item left to share, and this is kind of my most rare set from the event. This is an LE of 250 box set called Yesterday and Today. And if you can already see from here why I wanted this, there is a Judy Hopps pin that depicts a little kid Judy. This comes in a really awesome, nice, fancy box set. We have pins for Zootopia, Tarzan, Princess and the Frog, and Bolt. And in the theme of Yesterday and Today, they have a pin of them as a child, and then you can flip it, and then it has the adult version of them. But the box itself is almost kind of like cut like a gem. Love the limited edition foil on it. These pins are actually a really nice large size, but super cool how they're just like these little sliders, and you can have the yesterday side versus the today side. So I just got this set for the Judy Zootopia pin, and the rest of them I'll probably try to sell. We'll do just a closer look of the Judy Zootopia pin. Again, like all of these pins have been such a lovely, nice quality. You can see this is quite thick because it has this whole kind of little sliding element in there. And then with this pin, this is a limited edition of only 250. So those are all the pins that I got from attending the virtual Celebrating 20 Years of Disney Pins pin event. I'm super happy with all the pins that I got, especially that mystery pin trading card set. Feeling them, I was convinced they were like all gonna be the same pin inside, but I'm really happy with what I was able to get. Although the online event was perhaps not really worth the $50, especially given how like tiny and, you know, simple the welcome and goodbye pin was. This at least was like probably my one kind of opportunity to be able to sort of participate in a Disney pin event. Now the in-person events have a much higher attendance cost, but they also offer quite a bit more. There's a whole big setup where you can of course trade with other guests, but the big draw is Disney brings out these massive pin boards that you can trade on, and typically they have nice artist proof and pre-production pins on there, so you can get some really cool finds. I mean, maybe in the future I can see if I can swing making one of those events happen. But it was fun to at least do this virtually for now. If you also attended the virtual Pinel event, I'd love to know what you thought about it, and then also let me know what pins you got from the event. But thanks for watching!